We're used to seeing SUVs on city streets. But are those real off-road vehicles? I've gathered for you the most extreme machines that can truly go anywhere, from the ice of Antarctica to the stickiest swamps. Absolutely uncompromising solutions ever created by man. Do you know what a screw-propelled vehicle is? No? It's like a machine with meat grinders instead of wheels, capable of moving on any surface. Just don't get in its way. But you'll learn about that at the end of the video. It's no surprise that humans have always wanted to reach places where they haven't been before, and sometimes to get out from where they managed to reach, especially if the weather turned against them. So imagine, in the early 20th century, when cars just began to conquer roads, news came out that stirred up the public. The Spiker brothers, Jacob and Hendrik, together with the designer Brand, decided to build something unique, a four-wheel drive car. They developed it for the Paris-Madrid race. Now you're probably frowning in surprise. Four-wheel drive? Big deal. At the beginning of the 20th century, people couldn't even dream of such technology. The news about this car spread like an explosion, and all newspapers said, "Wow, a revolution." Before this, cars were, to put it mildly, primitive. A carriage on four wheels without complex engineering solutions, but then something completely new appeared. Unfortunately, as often happens, haste and competitive spirit let them down. The design was raw, the engineers couldn't figure out the differential system and proper torque distribution, and they missed the race. The race itself ended tragically, with a dozen spectators dying due to a car crash. Despite the tragedy, enthusiasts didn't give up. Researchers faced the task: how to make all-terrain vehicles safer. And Alex Kagres, a Russian genius who loved not only driving but also designing, stepped in. Kagres approached the task more seriously, and his all-terrain vehicle, presented in 1909, turned out to be a true hybrid. The drive system was, unusual. The front axle remained wheeled, but the rear axle became tracked. Kagres claimed that such a design provides stability and safety, especially on snow. But of course there were drawbacks. The main one was the constantly breaking track system, made from camel skins. Kagres took on the task of eliminating this problem, as his development sparked interest amid the tense international situation. But overall his apparatus performed excellently even on rough terrain and deep snow. And it's from this all-terrain vehicle that the era of these wild machines is considered to have begun. But enough history. Time to show you machines that personally made my jaw drop. Have you ever heard of the Vityaz? The insane monster from the world of all-terrain vehicles. This thing, created in the 80s, looks more like a tank or a missile launcher than a peaceful means of transportation. Its appearance is, at the very least, not for the faint-hearted. This hero of the off-road world with the acronym DT-30 can be used both for conquering the far north and for various military tasks. The main thing is that it can go anywhere thanks to the articulated track chassis with a smart system of links folding in different directions. Hydraulic cylinders magically allow the Vityaz to rotate in place, glide smoothly in any direction, and lock links to take height barriers up to 2 feet. The dimensions of these apparatus are also impressive: a length of 53 feet, a width of 10 feet, and a height of 10.8 feet. All this weighs 61,729 pounds without equipment. And funnily enough, despite its mass, it seems to dance on the ground, not destroying it. Imagine, the ground pressure is only 4.35 pounds per square inch. The apparatus practically hovers in the air given its dimensions. Now look at how this iron monster swiftly rushes through the expanses thanks to its incredible engine. A V12 turbodiesel with a volume of 39 liters and a power of 710 horsepower. This not only allows it to accelerate to 28 miles per hour on land and 31 miles per hour on water, but also to tow a load of 33 tons. Speaking of cost, besides its dimensions, this machine impresses with its price, a modest $200,000. Now Vityaz is in the service with geophysicists, geologists, oil workers. It participates in emergency rescue operations, transports food and fuel, lays winter roads. In the army, it's also used as an airborne transport and a platform for military adaptations, up to weapon systems. Here's the real king of off-road. How can any Geländewagen or Land Rover compare with it? And if you think that all all-terrain vehicles are so huge and relatively slow in a straight line, then here's the Ferrari of the off-road world for you. I never thought one could skim across swamps so fast. Whoa! This American beast named Ripsaw from Howe & Howe Technologies can accelerate up to 80 miles per hour. Imagine it reaches 60 miles per hour in just 4 seconds, like a rocket on tracks. And what's happening under the hood? A 6.6-liter engine with 600 horsepower. It's the sports car of the off-road world. It weighs 4.4 tons, plus an additional ton of payload. Ripsaw doesn't see obstacles, easily climbs 50-degree slopes, hardly slowing down. But the coolest part is the ability to equip this all-terrain vehicle with a bunch of army cannons. Imagine a heavy machine gun, a grenade launcher, anything, as long as it's not more than a ton. I bet if this Ripsaw had vocal cords, it would scream, "Get ready, world! Here I come!" Initially, the military waved off the idea of using this apparatus. Why? They just thought that the $500,000 price tag was a bit too much. By the way, it turns out to be the most expensive all-terrain vehicle in the world if you consider those that were actually built. But honestly, when you have such a machine, who really thinks about the price? I would fly across rough terrain sticking out my tongue with joy. Yahoo! But enough dreaming. Let's talk about the next machine. If you look at individual photos of this amphibious cargo all-terrain vehicle, it might not seem impressive. But add a person to the frame, and you immediately understand the scale of this wonder, the LARC LX. R.G. Letourneau, this American engineering genius, created not only road trains but also this monster. The US Army ordered an amphibious all-terrain vehicle from him, and in 1952 the first production model appeared, the largest floating transport vehicle of its time. The technical characteristics of these behemoths are breathtaking. 60 feet long, a payload of 220 pounds, 4 Detroit diesel engines at 265 horsepower each, and each wheel with individual drive. It also has fully steerable chassis. It can move sideways like a crab, and its turning diameter is just 75 feet. Not bad for such a size. Its land speed is no more than 15.5 miles per hour, half as slow on water. LARC LX could transport several tanks or an entire infantry battalion at once. Don't think it's just a toy. This amphibian served long in the US Army. It participated in Vietnam and retired only in 2001. Even then, LARC LX is occasionally used in various rescue operations as a budget-friendly and highly passable transport capable of evacuating many people. But let's move on, and I remind you that at the end I've saved the most interesting for you. Now let's take a look at this little guy with huge wheels. But remember, appearances can be deceiving, because this is indeed a powerful and uncompromising all-terrain vehicle that has gained worldwide recognition. Its legend didn't arise out of thin air. It's the brainchild of the Russian genius Alexei Garagashian. In 2015, a company from St. Petersburg took over its production and began assembling the first serial models. Sure, the shop's appearance isn't for a showroom, but look how it overcomes all sorts of impossibilities. Yes, it's slow on regular roads, but in off-road conditions it's simply unbeatable. Unlike the American competitor I showed you, Sherp can also dash across water thanks to its airtight body and low-pressure tires, and it costs several times less. This machine is like a fairy tale hero. It emerges from water onto ice, spins on the spots in tight spaces like a ninja on the dance floor, and here is another bonus. Inside, it's as cozy as a home. 2 sleeping places and everything needed for living. There's no need to go outside during long expeditions, making the vehicle indispensable in hard-to-reach areas or during severe weather. It's incredible that with its modest dimensions, only 138 inches in length and 100 inches in width, the Sherp inside accommodates everything necessary for life. The little guy has a power of 44 horsepower, not much, but that's quite enough due to the aluminum body and light weight. Sherp is sold everywhere. In Russia, Europe, Asia, and even overseas. In Canada, it has already proven itself in a rescue operation, freeing 9 travelers from the forest after a snowfall. Tracked all-terrain vehicles? Snowmobiles? Who are they? Only Sherp managed to extract the loss through the swamp like a true hero. And now, before I show you the all-terrain meat grinder, let's dive a bit into history. I'll introduce you to the most iconic monsters of World War II. PB-4 – Amphibious Armored Car. Created in 1935, the PB-4 Amphibious Armored Car represents a very interesting technical solution. It became one of the first all-terrain vehicles that felt comfortable in water and provided protection for the crew. The basis of the PB-4 is a fully enclosed welded body, made from 0.3-inch steel. This not only offered protection from bullets but also made the vehicle capable of floating. In the front part of the body, there is a 40-horsepower 4-cylinder inline engine, working in combination with a 4-speed gearbox and a demultiplexer, driving a propeller. This provides a maximum speed of up to 31.1 miles per hour on hard roads and up to 2.5 miles per hour on water. The wheel formula is 6x4, meaning the two rear axles are the driving ones. Bulletproof wheels and tracks offer various movement options and enhance passability under rainy conditions. ADMK all-terrain vehicle. Here's another interesting machine with a wild system of wheels and tracks simultaneously. The Austro-Daimler ADMK was developed in the 1930s by the Austrian division of the German company Daimler-Benz. ADMK was designed for military use and had a wheel track layout, allowing it to move on hard roads and very rough terrain. It was equipped with a 20-horsepower air-cooled engine and had a shortened track drive on a spring suspension. For highway travel, removable drive rubber wheels rollers were used. The vehicle was often used to deliver weapons, or it was equipped with a machine gun, becoming a real problem for the troops of anti-Hitler coalition. Scout car. And I must mention the Scout, as it became the most mass-produced all-terrain vehicle in the Soviet Union during World War II. This rather versatile and reliable vehicle, produced in the USA, was supplied in huge quantities to Allied countries. Characteristics like the powerful 101-horsepower Hercules engine, a reasonably high maximum speed of 58 miles per hour on good surfaces, and standard all-wheel drive made it an excellent machine for its time. It's important to note that despite the 4x4 wheel formula, Scouts had some difficulties on serious off-road terrain. Nevertheless, they were used with respect, and the later BTR-40 was created based on this American armored personnel carrier. And now, having paid tribute to history, it's time for me to show you the most exotic exhibit I've promised throughout the video. The all-terrain vehicle on meat grinders. I'm talking about the ZIL 4904, also known as PEU-3, a unique screw-rotor snow swamp vehicle created in the Soviet Union under the leadership of designer A.P. Seleznov and completed in 1972. This all-terrain vehicle was designed for search and rescue missions and providing access to remote areas such as dense forests, swamps, and snowy regions. Despite its impressive size, the equipped mass of ZIL 4904 was only 8 tons, and the total mass with payload exceeded 11 tons. But the main quirk of this giant is its wheels, or rather their absence. The vehicle had giant screws, 19.7 feet long and 4.92 feet in diameter, made from the light and strong alloy AMG 61. These screws provided incredible passability in snow and mud. However, like many screw-rotor all-terrain vehicles, ZIL 4904 faced limitations on hard surfaces like asphalt or concrete due to rapid wear of the metal ground grips. And imagine such a thing on a highway. Nevertheless, on weak grounds, in snow and water, this snow swamp vehicle demonstrated impressive passability, reaching speeds up to 9.3 to 10.6 miles per hour in snow and mud, up to 6.5 miles per hour in water, and up to 4.5 miles per hour in swamps. ZIL 4904 used two ZIL 375 gasoline engines with 180 horsepower each, also equipped with pre-start heaters. The transmission included a transfer case, a main gear, and a reducer, distributing traction to the screws. This unique all-terrain vehicle was not just an experimental development, but was actually used in practical missions, such as search and rescue operations and ensuring access to remote areas. Indeed, after seeing such monsters, one starts looking at civilian SUVs as if they're toy cars made for show, not real use. Although, who am I kidding? I wouldn't refuse a Galander bargain. Thanks for watching.